One last point on consumerism. We talk about 1,000 moving parts. How do we support people in navigating 1,000 moving parts? Because you don't know which part you're going to need at the beginning of the year. You're not going to know it in open enrollment. So how do we help people to navigate that? What are you seeing that's working?
Well, I'm actually hearing a lot more points for care navigators. And I think it's because physician offices aren't doing it. If the carrier calls to pre-cert or to whatever their typical case manage, there's not a high level of trust between a patient and the insurance company, however they see that. And so outside of that, I think if care navigation really has a role of pulling all the pieces together, I've been a skeptic. I'm turning a page.
Yep.
No, I would agree, and I think, again, looking at it from the patient's point of view, I've had cases where someone, a carrier will deny a procedure, person's still in pain, but then there's no other follow-up, nothing else offered. I think a care navigator will say, okay, well, this was denied, but you're still in pain. Let's get you to the appropriate resource and let me help you along those ways. I think it's needed. It's hard to navigate the system. Even as a physician, it's hard.
It is a complex system. I would completely agree. And my sense is that maybe navigator may be even too passive. A word that advocate may be even more appropriate, because individuals need help along the continuum of provided services, and ensuring that people are plugged in and connected. I would perhaps take a little bit of issue. I think primary care clinicians are perhaps the most well-positioned to provide that service. But if they are given the opportunity to do so, such that individuals don't have the cost barriers in front of them to access primary care, I see that as perhaps the setting where that kind of advocacy could have the most benefit.
And it's interesting, advocacy obviously is a patient-centered, employee-centered benefit, but it also actually adds a lot of value in the system, that the programs that have been put in that place have actually proven out to actually reduce cost trend, get people to the care they need faster.
Right time, right place.
Right time, right place. And all the tools, all this stuff that we built in the context of consumerism get used more if somebody actually helps people. But a key ingredient, and I think you were alluding to it, Pat, before, a key ingredient to be an advocate is to be trusted and to be trustworthy, right? To actually be working on behalf of that patient to help them get what they need.
Yeah, I want to underscore the primary care. I couldn't agree more. I don't think there are enough of them. I don't think they have enough time, and I don't think they're paid enough.
I think your point about pay is a critical one. This is a role that I think has not really been fully matured in the current delivery system, and we need to support that advocacy role as a way of ensuring that people are getting the right care at the right time in the right location.
I mean, you're both physicians. Anytime I've talked to somebody who's entering medical school, in the middle of medical school, picking a specialty, they're not doing primary care. No. Because the view is there's still not the respect and there's not the income.
Yeah, as an internist, I think you go back to the managed care comment, which started this whole thing. The idea of a gatekeeper, which was the primary care physician there, was almost an adversarial relationship that I think kind of set the stage for that being less attractive, less valued, and therefore not reimbursed correctly.
I'm going to close the conversation as it relates to consumerism. I think what we're hearing here is that we're not moving away from a consumerist-oriented strategy for employers and for the system itself, but it's not necessarily consumer-directed as much as it's consumer-centric, It's really how do we help people get the care they need? How do we design our plans in a way that they can afford the care they need? And how do we get them activated where there's value-based choices throughout the continuum?